So here's the plan. We wrap a bunch of foil around some wire, make it vaguely boat-shaped, add some fancy details, some fake water, then bing bang boom, pirate ship. Now that I've got a base, I can start adding all the exterior details. Here's where I realized the nose of the ship was too small, so I cut it off and made it much bigger. I spent days staring at dozens of reference images, trying to make sure I got every detail I could and it was as accurate as possible. Luckily for you though, I can show that in about 10 seconds. Oh, stop hitting this! Why are there so many doors and windows? Once the outside was mostly done, I went around the whole thing and added a wood texture to anything that looked like it might be made out of wood. After I finished the outside, I cut off this back section and cured the whole thing because it was starting to fall apart and I wanted to get it cured as quickly as possible. For the deck, I put a thin layer of clay over the already cured clay and I was able to carve out the floor and then started adding stairs and more windows and more doors and more windows and more doors and more windows and more doors. So this boat has a lot of fences, and I had the brilliant idea to cut up a bunch of small pieces of wire and glue them all down like little fence posts and then try and glue another long wire on top like the rail, and well, it just wasn't that good of an idea. It didn't come out terrible or anything, it was just overly difficult, and once I put the layer of paint on it at the end that you'll see later, it looks alright. It was just way more work than it was worth. So much bigger than anticipated. Now I'm making the rudder and this big engine thing on the back, and it's really not all that interesting. I guess I probably could have just skipped this part. There was also this back section that was kind of fun to make and attach to the back of the boat, but then I had to put more fences down. I'm done. No more fences. I'm done. I can't do anymore. For the two masts of the ship, I got wooden dowels, made them a bit thicker with some foil, and then added some basic details. The main mast has another room at the top of it, so I just made another one of those really quickly. There's these gridded rope things coming down from the top of the main mast to the deck or the side of the boat, and I decided it was a great idea to try and do these by hand, so I did. I tied each individual string to the outside ropes and just started weaving them through the other ropes, and I did this all the way up and then again on the other side of the ship. And this is what it looked like at that point. The painting process was simple. You put down a base coat and you go over it with a dark wash and then do it again and then again and again until the entire ship is done. Once I painted all the little details and did the whole process again for the masts, this is what we were left with. Now the Thousand Sunny lower deck has grass on it, but the fake grass I have is too long, so instead I took some clear drying Mod Podge with a little bit of paint and sort of dabbed it over till it looked mostly like grass. I glued down the ends of the rope net and I was ready to start on the sails. The process for the sails was interesting. I took some scrap pieces of canvas, cut them into the shape I thought a sail should be, and then very roughly painted on the skull symbol and the stripes of the back sail. To attach the sails, I actually hand tied them to some wooden dowels and then attached those wooden dowels to the mast, and I feel like this made it look pretty cool. I needed to make the sails look like there was wind pushing them, so I took my roommate's blow dryer, put it in the back so that way the sails were all getting pushed, and then I covered it with a ton of fabric stiffener until it held its shape. I also added some wire to the back for extra support. Now for the water. I started with a simple wooden box, glued it together, painted it all black, and then painted the inside blue so that way the water had a bit of blue to it. Positioned the ship inside the box and used rice to measure out about how much resin I was going to need. Turns out it was about all of the normal resin I had left, so that worked out. To do the actual waves, I used UV resin. I built it up in random spots, and then used the clear drying Mod Podge to smooth out the shape. And lastly, I put some white paint at the tops of the waves for a sort of seafoam effect. Now for the epic reveal. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested, the sculpture is for sale in my Etsy shop, link in bio. Okay, bye now.